What's going on? It's your boy, SB. So this vlog is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to make this quick, but y'all know I be talking. So in the vlog talking about Amazon's layoff last night, I made a point when I believe things are going to get bad. And I said, I believe that's going to happen once media presses the button. So we're going to start this off with me showing you what it looks like when media presses that button. But even before that, I woke up today and I seen some interesting headlines. The first one was, this recession's going to hit everywhere all at once. And then I seen another one, economist says that the market's going to crash within 30 to 60 days. And when I read that, it had me thinking, are they hitting the button or are they getting ready to hit that button? And the reason why I say that, and I'm going to show you some proof, it seems like the tone is changing. Remember last year, it was more so, oh, we're not going into a recession. Oh, it's going to be a light landing. Oh, all this stuff. We're going to talk about it. I got some articles to show you. I got some clips to show you. And then we're going to talk. So when I talked about them hitting the red button, I'm going to show you a clip. And this is exactly what I mean by them hitting the red button. And I believe that it may be with them announcing a recession or whatever it is. And that's when I was saying, I think that's when it's going to get bad, when they announce that recession. And the reason why is because how they promote it, propaganda, and how I believe that's going to move people. Watch the vlog that I did last night. I kind of explained it more. I'm just going to show you the example real quick. Look at what I'm talking about.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Same story.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 I think you get the point. Now, I'm pretty sure some of y'all have seen that. That's what I'm talking about, hitting the button. So it's basically them pushing, like I said, propaganda. So now my second point is that button getting ready to be pushed. And the reason why I say that is because when you look, I don't want to pull these up just because I don't feel like doing that much work. I'm already about to put clips in here and video clips and all that stuff. But just search this, and it's kind of hard to find. Basically, what I'm looking at is the temperature changing in the headlines from last year to this year. Big media. When you look on here, this is from 2022. Some of the headlines said something like, the economy may look like it's in a recession, but we still don't know for sure. It gets better. Biden says he doesn't think there would be an economic recession. What? That article was on October 11th. So this is my thing. Why are the headlines changing now? Joe Biden didn't know that. They just found this out. Within these 7 months, they just found that out. I find that hard to believe. Why do I find that hard to believe? Because I've been following channels who's been talking about this the last year. And you telling me YouTube, the far side, the far corner of YouTube, got better tracking on our economy than the government, than the president? Lisa, come here. You believe that? Come here. And that wasn't even like early 2022. That was like late 2022. And then you have the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. She made a statement. This was in 2022, July. Says that the economy is not in a recession despite the GDP. Why was that stated right there? Because the definition was changed if you didn't know that. I guess there was an actual definition of a recession. I guess it was 2 negative GDPs in a row or something like that. Don't quote me, but it was something like that. why did she come out and say that? Because we actually hit that last year, but they didn't declare it a recession. And a lot of people was like, yo, why is no one saying it's a recession? Then they changed it and they said it's a recession when these certain people say it's a recession. Yo, y'all better stop playing with y'all money. Oh, but there's more. We're not done yet. So that wasn't even a whole year ago. And I remember during that time too, because I was watching real independent news people and people who trying to do their own, you know what I mean? People who truly follow the stock market, but they're not a part of big media, you know, different people like that. I'm always looking for both sides of the story. So I was following these people last year and they were talking about, yo, a recession's here. Not even just a recession. They was like, yo, this can be a depression. But during that time, I was confused because I'm looking at big media and I'm seeing all that type of stuff. So why all of a sudden is their tone changing now? Why are the headlines now, U.S. recession will hit? I think you get my point. The tone is changing. So this is a headline that came out 2 weeks ago. They actually changed the title. Because when I first seen the headline, that's when I really started tripping. I was like, yo, they are changing their tone. They changed the title. The title said at first, expert warns of a market crash within 60 days. And at first I thought I was tripping because I was looking for it. I wrote it down in my notes like, yo, I got to put this in the blog somewhere. And then I was looking for it. I didn't see the name, but it was something similar. Now it changed to expert warns stock market crash could come in a matter of days. But I think the 60 days was a little bit more accurate and a little more scary for them to actually put a time limit. And even though the title changed, he still says it in here.
Our 21 Lehman systemic risk indicators that look at equity and credit point to one of the highest probabilities of a crash in the stock market looking out 60 days.
Wow, 60
Y'all hear that?
days? You're saying you're going to see it? We're going to see a crash in the stock market within 60 days?
Yes, because the withdrawal of capital from the middle class families is so spectacular.
Now, there's going to be another guy that comes on and tries to prove him wrong and tries to, like, they do the whole debate. It's always going to be an illusion of opinions. This versus this, that opinion versus this opinion, this party versus this party. It's an illusion of choice, but that's a whole nother video. So did I just show you that to say, oh, the stock market's going to crash in 60 days? No, I'm not even saying, even though the expert said that, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is it seems like this button's finna be pressed and pretty soon. But that's not the main thing in this video. That's, to me, is just another red flag. But let's continue. But this is from today when it was talking about the U.S. recession will hit everywhere all at once.
Like I said, it's going to hit everywhere all at once. So it's not going to be confined to real estate. It's not going to be confined to the banks. It's not going to be confined to corporate credit. This is really like 2007, 2008.
So first thing she said, this is going to hit everything, everywhere. She said that the housing market, the banks, the credit, all that. It's going to hit everywhere when? At once.
All over again, except I think it's going to devolve even faster than it did then because of the speed and magnitude of the Fed's rate hikes.
It sounds like you're expecting a real come down for the economy and for the markets. You're comparing this to 2007, 2008 financial crisis.
She thinks it's going to be just like 2008, but even quicker.
Like I said, it's going to hit everywhere all at once. So it's not going to be confined to real estate. It's not going to be confined to the banks. It's not going to be confined to corporate credit. This is really like 2007, 2008 all over again, except I think it's going to devolve even faster than it did then because of the speed and magnitude of the Fed's rate hikes.
It sounds like
So peep this. I was just kind of looking into some of the press that happened before the actual declaring of the recession in the last recession. And why does this sound like right now? So this was 3 months, a little over 60 days before the last recession was officially declared. Check this out.
Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt, and financial markets from Asia to Europe are doing their utmost to prevent Monday from turning from dark to black. Employees of America's fourth largest investment bank saw the writing on the wall late Sunday after talks to pull them back from the abyss collapsed. British firm Barclays Bank said no thanks, while Bank of America decided instead to help another struggling bank, Merrill Lynch, in a merger deal worth over $50 billion. The U.S. government said it won't bail out Lehman, which last week announced more than $3.9 billion in losses. Shares in Lehman Brothers have plummeted more than 80% in 2008 alone.
Lehman, like so many other investment banks and banks, really got, quite frankly, caught up in the housing bubble. But like every bubble, the bubble ended, and now we're seeing the downside of that bubble.
Following the same risky practices that sunk former giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Lehman also had a hand in securing America's high-risk subprime mortgages, believing that the popularity and sheer volume of those loans would net huge gains. But it didn't.
So watch. Now, I'm going to pause a certain part. First off, banks, you feel me, having issues? Sound familiar? Oh, well, no, you know, that's because of the loans, of the housing loans and all that. The story may not be exactly the same, but the results look a little iffy. And the crazy thing is, this was before they announced the recession. 3 months, just to be exact. I looked at the dates. This was in this one right here is in September. They actually officially declared it a recession in December. That's 3 months. That's 90 days. And this was September 15th. So that's like 2.5 months. What old boy say? He said 60 days is when he thinks the market will crash. So the banks were having issues, right? Watch what happens, what the government did then when it came to the banks. And then I'm going to play a clip from this week. It sounds identical. Check this out.
Was more than $60 billion in losses. Lehman Brothers now go to court, where a judge will take control of the bank until its assets are sold.
This was 11 days ago. Check this out.
U.S. authorities have seized control of Silicon Valley Bank to protect depositors at the California-based bank as the bank's woes sparked fears of contagion in the sector. Silicon Valley Bank says it lost $1.8 billion in sales of securities in an effort to raise funds. With interest rates rising, SVB saw heavy withdrawals and needed more liquidity. SVB works with over half of U.S. tech and healthcare startups. Its shares dropped 60% on the news, taking other U.S. banks down as well.
That ain't spooky. Am I tripping? I could be tripping. Listen, I'm not an economist. You feel me? I'm not an expert. You know what I mean? Maybe it's Stolen. You feel me? I was an expert ambassador at Amazon. But, you feel me? So look it. Don't take this for law. Does this not sound similar? Maybe I'm tripping. And listen, I'm okay if I'm tripping. Let me know. But I'm going to show you another clip after this one of them announcing the recession and what they say. Man, so hang on there. Hold on a little bit longer. But let's finish this one, and then I'm going to show you that final clip.
This is the second U.S. bank failure this week after Silvergate. Is this purely a coincidence, or is this a sign of something greater happening in this space?
I don't think that it's a coincidence. There is a lot of pressure building up. And if you see what happened, especially with the Silicon Valley Bank, one of the problems is that the Federal Reserve was...
Don't that sound similar? Maybe I'm tripping. But he goes on to say, oh, well, we don't think this is like 2008. And I hope it ain't. You feel me? This can't be. No, you feel me? This is too much. I don't know. This can't be 2008 either. But you feel me? Stuff is looking spooky out here in these in these American streets. So this right here is a video of them announcing the recession. And the reason why I just thought this was interesting is because it fits. If this was played today, it would sound just like our time. But check this out. So this video is from 2008, December 1st. That bank video was 2008 in September. So this is 3 months later, and it's titled "The U.S. Officially in a Recession." Now, this is what I mean. The red button that I showed you earlier of them spreading everything, that's not new. We've seen that before. Where else did we see that at? I don't know, the shutdown when everything sounded just like in the beginning of that video. So I think that's going to happen again with the recession. I remember that happening in the last recession. I was a kid. Well, I wasn't a child. I was out of high school. And I remember the recession. You want to know how I remember it? The TV, because they hit the red button. I didn't even know what was going on. All I seen was red arrows going down on every station. I personally witnessed them hit the button back in the last recession. And it's funny because I thought about this when I made that vlog, the scariest article of 2008 that I made, talking about how many jobs were lost in the last recession. But before I made that vlog, I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I remember the last recession, but I only remember the news and seeing the stock market red on every single channel. And I was asking her things like what took place with the jobs, boom, boom, like what was going on during that time, getting that type of information. But the reason why I remember the last recession is because of the media. Every channel. I was trying to watch The Simpsons. I was trying to watch Family Guy. And literally every single channel was just like the beginning of this video. So that's why I believe that's going to happen again. And I think it's going to sound just like this. Tell me this don't sound like this would make sense if this played tomorrow. Listen to this. Got me over here sweating. Yeah. All right, check this out. Listen to this.
The signs were everywhere, but now it's official. We are in a recession. The research group that makes that determination made it today and said the recession actually started a year ago. But now it's official. We are in a recession. The research group that makes that determination.
Hold up. She said the research group that makes that determination. Hold on. Get over here, Miss Anger. What group is this? I didn't hear no names. You feel me? You know, the CDC or the so-and-so, the research group who makes that decision. Yo, I'm done. Who? But you want to know the funny thing about it? When they changed the definition of what a recession is recently, when we actually met the requirements, it's some group of people that declare it. Who are these people? This is a U.S. officially in a recession press release by CBS 14 years ago, and we don't even get a name of who these people are. You see what I'm saying? It's a few people who hit that button. Who declared it that? Let me continue. All right, let's back it up. She only 2 bars in. Let's go.
Research group that makes that determination made it today and said the recession actually started a year ago.
Okay, it started a year ago before it was announced. Last year, we technically met the requirements of a recession. Is this not getting a little fishy? Maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping? Y'all can tell me. This all just seems a little fishy. Let's continue.
But the question now, when will it end? Wall Street is clearly worried. The Dow plunged nearly 680 points today, or 7.7%. Anthony Mason is our business correspondent. Anthony, last week's big rally is now just a fond memory, isn't it?
What the market giveth, the market also taketh away, Katie. Remember that historic 5-day rally, the biggest since 1933? Well, it ran into a bear today, and in one big bite, more than half of those gains were gone. For Wall Street, it was another case of whiplash. The markets haven't been this volatile in almost 80 years. For the past 50 days, the S&P 500 has whipsawed up and down an average of nearly 4% every day. That hasn't happened since the late 1920s.
It's just one of these markets that's just floating back and forth, and we're back on the downside.
The latest slide, nearly 700 points, came as reports showed manufacturing activity hitting a 26-year low last month. And the economy was formally and officially declared in recession. The National Bureau of Economic Research confirmed what many already felt. The recession began last December and may be far from over.
There is no single action the federal government can take to end the financial market turmoil and the economic downturn.
Stocks staged a monster rally last week after President-elect Obama unveiled his new economic team, but the euphoria evaporated today.
So basically, there's a lot of problems out there that even though we have a great team coming in, it's not a magic wand that's going to help this economy.
Many economists now believe this downturn will be the most severe since the recession of the early 1980s, which lasted 16 months and led to 7.5% unemployment and a record number of bank failures. Sounds familiar, Katie?
Yeah, me.
Oh, yeah, sounds familiar, Katie. Yeah, it do sound familiar, Bob. Don't that sound... Oh, my goodness. This don't sound like that can air today in our situation. Now, listen, where am I going with all this? I don't even want to think nothing bad. Trust me. But I think that kind of explains my theory from last night's vlog, talking about how maybe 100,000 people could be laid off with just Amazon. Stuff can go bad pretty quick. Then we got the other guy talking about the stock market crash in 60 days. Listen, I'm just making this for another warning, because we just don't know what can happen, what can take place. Am I saying that's going to happen? I'm not saying nothing. You feel me? It just looks very familiar. I did a whole vlog about the article from 2008 that I came across, talking about how, 1 million jobs lost in 2 months. 500,000 jobs in one month, 500,000 jobs in another month. It was something like that. Go look at my vlog. It's called The Scariest Article in 2008. That's this recession that they talking about. This is all the same thing. I just didn't put it in one video. I just want to get y'all thoughts. Y'all my fam. What y'all think about this? Doesn't this kind of look similar? I really don't know, but I really need somebody's thoughts. So put it in the comment section. What's your opinion on this? And it's definitely time to prepare mentally, financially, physically, and spiritually. You like, SB, this wasn't motivating. Listen, don't worry. I got some motivation for you. If you want some motivation, give me like 19 hours. Next vlog, I got you. You feel me? I got you. I got some motivation for you. Don't trip. But we just can't have our heads in the sand. If something is taking place, like the lady said, if bubbles is popping, all bubble popping, I think instead of having our heads in the sand, we should really pay attention. I had a few comments of people saying, oh, you watch too much gloom and doom, YouTube, SB, and then the next few days, banks close down. Listen, let's get our head out of the ground. This ain't fun news, and it can be scary. Do we fear? No, don't fear. That's why I said you got to prepare spiritually. Prepare mentally, because as I was looking into this last recession back then, the one that they talking about, it was a lot of people that took their life. It was a lot of mental consequences to the things that went on. And if you look, there was a press release where they talked about the psychological damage that it does to you when people get laid off and all that stuff. So that's why I keep making these videos. Look around. Remember how they said the signs was on the wall? You know how many layoffs is still happening, shutdowns is still happening. I just haven't put them in every video. I've just been really focusing on the Amazon layoffs. But I'm doing another video this week of the storm. I'm gonna continue. That's gonna be a series. I'm gonna do part 2, and I'm gonna cover more of the shutdowns that's been happening. But like I said, I just want to make people aware. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. It's just time to prepare. If you guys like the video, be sure to like and be sure to subscribe, because like I said, the Storm 2, that's coming out this week. And with them starting to promote this more, I think we're going to have to stay on this a little bit more just so we can keep each other aware. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit the notification bell so you can see when I drop the video. Also, yes, I'm an artist. I go by the name of SB. The song's about to come on. It's called Whoa, off my project called Motivation. It's positive music, inspiration music. If you like anyone, check it out. It will be in the description, and it will link you to iTunes, Spotify, all those different outlets. Anyways, it's your boy SB. I'm going to catch you on the next video. Let's go.
Look, they say I couldn't do it, but I did. Turn stacks to a crib. Yeah, going up, going in. Let them sleep, bedtime, tuck them in.